everybody. It's your girl, Pajama, with Pajama Life. And, it's here. It's Oscars. They're here. After all this time, we will get to see who's going to win tomorrow night. And hopefully we don't miss it with the time change tonight. And so today we're going to check out The Mandalorian. It's back, and boy, is it back. Bad Batch. And then we're going to talk about the final nominations, the best director and best picture. And so I couldn't do none of this without my two brothers right here. Poo. We have the professor of all things Star Wars and collectibles and Star Wars books and anything else he wants. Let's say hey to David.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you again on another fun Saturday night to talk about these shows. And unquestionably, spending Saturday night with us, this is the way.
This is the way. And we have the guru of all things Marvel and professor of Tolkien, Patrick. Say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. Got some good stuff. And boy, we had to wait 2 episodes in to talk about The Mandalorian. But man, they are great. We can't wait to talk about them.
See? But if we just talked about one, might not be as exciting as talking about two. So let's take a peek. The Mandalorian. Boo-boo.
You have removed your helmets. You are no longer Mandalorian. Redemption is no longer possible since the destruction of our homeworld.
But what if the mines of Mandalore still exist?
This is the way.
All right, kid. You ready for an adventure?
All right, give it up for our producer for an excellent clip there. All right, since the Mandalorian, we got to check in with our guru of all things Star Wars, David. Tell us what you think.
It is great that this is back on. Thrilled to death to see the third season. I can't believe how fast it's come. The third season of The Mandalorian. We're back with some of our old and tried true characters that we're really falling in love with. Katie Sackhoff is Bo-Katan, fantastic, bringing it to us. Pedro Pascal, he is. I saw a cartoon. He's actually carrying 2 streaming services with these incredible performances, taking care of one magical child after another in different galaxies. A bit of a theme there. Lot of fun to see. Episode 2, I think, really took it to a good level. I will say very quickly, episode 1 left me a little wanting. I'm a little concerned. We had a little bit of a trip into the Pirates of the Caribbean or the Swamp Thing with the Pirate King. And I have to tell you, I was a little disappointed in the execution, the character, and the costuming of this Pirate King. Other than that, great to be back in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, it was giving me Sid Crofton a little bit. Patrick, what did you think of The Mandalorian?
A lot. I mean, it was really, really good. I was glad to see us really. I mean, they've been flirting with the Filoni-verse for a moment or two, and they dove right in. I'm telling you what, I have questions about things that I don't know, and it begs some questions. So if you haven't watched this is your warning. Spoilers are ahead. Okay. Din had problems with the dark saber. He couldn't wield it worth a crap, and it was still fighting him when he picked it up to fight in the mines of Mandalore. But Bo-Katan, who picks it up, she was all about that, and it seemed to be working just like it's supposed to. Are we hinting that perhaps Bo-Katan should be the rightful carrying individual of the dark saber, which she should be, to be really honest? She is the hereditary ruler of Mandalore, and she is trying to reunite all the tribes, including the Death Watch, which is what Din's clan is. Really interesting. Second episode just started out so strong with the ceremony of the Creed of the Mandalore, and then they leave that big teaser at the end, so there's some things coming up. I mean, there's a lot of big stuff coming up with this show, and I gotta tell you, I rewatched both of them because they're that good.
Yeah, I thought they were real. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just waxing how wonderful it was to see all this, and it was. Yeah, they are fanatics, the watches, and you see this, and you see Bo-Katan, making it out that they are fanatics, and she's like, yeah, I had to do this. It was a big performative thing. Yeah, boo, big deal. And he's like having a religious moment here as he's walking into the water. I mean, super, super good stuff. And, props to, like you said, Pedro Pascal carrying 2 franchises right now. Don't forget, he's the guy who killed the Mountain, too. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really just a super diverse kind of guy. So I'm hoping that we have more seasons. These first 2 episodes were really good. They could have left out that pirate stuff, but it brought back the wonderful Carl Weathers, who is now, what is it? High magistrate. So I just thought that anytime Carl Weathers is in there, and Creed 3 just came out, which I was hoping he would be in. I don't know. I just love Carl Weathers. So, and you know what? I thought they really did a classy way of getting, potentially maybe leaving the door open of Gina Carano's character. I thought that was classy how they did that. I mean, they didn't
they did it the only way they could without calling her what she is.
Well, I mean, I just thought it was classy how they did it. And exactly. I thought, they could have roasted her, but they did it the nice, classy way. So that was respectful. And in keeping with, that's how I figure Filoni and Favreau, those guys, they just want to keep the story going without, a lot of drama. So, that, kind of set the stage to move forward. And they did it in a good way. Bo-Katan, I really was surprised. I was kind of disappointed her lazing around, moping around at the beginning and whatnots. But she got a little kick in the butt and got her stuff together. So maybe we just see his name, Pedro Pascal, and her name. So maybe she's in it for the rest of the season. So, which would be great.
Well, they've hinted that there's going to be a heavy Mandalorian influence throughout, lots of Mandos. And what Gina Carano brought in terms of that strong female character, which is something that I think it's a good thing. Carrie Fisher did it right in the first 3 movies, but they've been, we want to make sure there are strong female characters, which I applaud. Katie Sackhoff can do that. Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune, was great.
Yeah.
I mean, she really was. Katie Sackhoff is fantastic. She brought Starbuck into the world as a female version, Battlestar Galactica. And I just think her performances are just lights out. Katie's great. Yeah. So glad that she's able to bring that character from the cartoon into the real, into the live show. Fantastic work.
Yeah, and I think she's a good foil to kind of poke kind of some at the kind of pseudo religion of the what is it, Children of the Watch?
Children of the Watch, yeah.
So I hope that's not going to be creepy, but man, these are kind of darker episodes. I mean, dude almost got eaten, and I'm like, this is not for little kids no more. I was like, and one thing I really liked, well, two things, was R5D4, the little droid. He was so cute being scared. I love to hear when the droids are like, ooh, ooh. And I really like to see little Grogu like leaping now, like the Jedi leap, and him fighting. So he's using his powers responsibly, because I kind of feel like he had lifted that big old monster before. So I was kind of like, well, I guess he did learn some control, because before he would have just crunched that. It like made him hurt. Like he choked out Gina Carano's character, which was awesome, by the way. So
it's still, though, you know, the fact that Grogu and Mando are back together, it does kind of take away from the end of season 2.
Yeah, well,
you know, you and I both have kind of thought that. So it's, you got to keep. Hey, Disney's got to make some money somehow.
They can't let that partnership go. So
no, they could.
And it propels the story with him then having to go to the waters of Mandalore, and we see that creature. But okay, let me ask you this. I know it's spoilers, people, so cover your ears. But do you think Bo-Katan kind of set him up? That's what I was wondering. If she kind of set him up and maybe thought that creature was still there to kind of get the sword, and have to.
She didn't get the sword at the end of that sequence when he got up after she rescued him from the water. He's putting his weapons back on.
That's what I mean. If he would have died, she could have picked up the sword.
No, she couldn't have legally, because she didn't defeat him in combat.
Right.
Well, who's to say what happened if she's the one left standing?
Well, the Darksaber wouldn't work for her then, according to the.
Okay.
I mean, he offered to give it to her alive.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think she had any. She warned him not to go. So I don't think there was any trying to set him up.
Yeah.
But
we'll see if she stays.
It was good to see her get to flex her own muscles, and the little bit she does aside to Grogu. You didn't think your dad was the only Mandalorian, did you?
Yeah, I thought that
I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But he saw her fight before with the other Mandalorians in the first season. So I was kind of like, or second season, whatever. Remember when she came the first time?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, they saved him. They helped save him from the other big fish monster. Yeah. A lot of big fish eating things in this show.
Big snapping turtle. The snapping turtle.
A lot of snapping turtles.
The croca turtle.
Croca turtle. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was cute though. I wasn't too mad at it, but anytime I can see the armorer, her kick butt and her, I just love her voice and her character. I mean, she's super cool. So, well, we got to move on. We love the Mandalore. I think all of us can say it's great. Check out the Mandalorian. Okay. All right. Now, my favorite time of the year after my birthday.
Are we not doing Bad Batch?
Oscars. We'll do Bad Batch last. Unless we can do Bad Batch really quick. Bad Batch. Okay, what do you guys think? David?
I loved it. I think it's going to a whole new level. We're seeing the side of Crosshair.
It's dark though, isn't it?
It is dark. It is not for kids. It is really
anymore.
Kind of finding itself. And other than the whole ridiculousness of they really wanted people instead of clones, because if I'm a mad dictator wanting to rule the world, I'd want mindless clones as my army. Yeah. But this was great, man. Crosshair. We see him coming back to the group. I'm pretty sure. This was a really good episode. Loved it.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like what he did at the end of it. But
that was the best part.
Get it. I mean, I completely understand. I'd frag my boss too if they did me dirty like that. Oh no,
One
not
shot
really.
first, and Crosshair
I
did
wouldn't
too.
really
I
do
mean,
that.
Cam getting called into HR
I
Monday
know.
morning.
Called it HR on Monday.
a little disconcerted
But
there.
no, I mean it's really that guy. But you see the racism kind of on display against the clones, and it's like, oh man, damn, in the far galaxy far away, you still gotta deal with this crap. But I guess here it is, rearing its ugly head again. Pat,
They
what
don't
did you
serve their kind there.
Oh yeah, I liked it. It was slow moving, and I agree with David that I can see them trying to move Crosshair back into the group eventually. This is
Yeah.
what we're doing. We're showing him the evils of the Empire. And yes, you said you keep working for them, but yeah, look at these guys. They're total d-holes. Let's move on. So yeah, I enjoyed it overall, but it wasn't as much as some of the other episodes I liked.
Yeah. Okay, so I think for the most part everybody enjoyed it, but now I think we can really say this is not a show for children. I mean, I watch all kind of crazy.
I don't know who their
stuff
audience is yet.
But there you might have to explain some things to the kids. Okay. All right. So now we can enter into the danger zone of the Oscars. Oscars. My fourth favorite time of the year. So now we've seen all the movies. We've heard all the songs. We looked at some of the books and some of the screenplays, and we looked at the best actor and actress, and now we have our final best director, best picture. So let's start with best director, because how can you have a best picture if you don't have best director? So they've gotten away from that, and I don't like it. So let's take a look at directing. The Banshees of Inisherin, Martin McDonough. Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Daniels. Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg. Tar, Todd Field. Triangle of Sadness, Ruben Östlund. I'm just going to say his name like that. It's probably something different. Okay. Let's start with Patrick. What do you think of the directing?
Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
period.
let's say who we like the most, who we thought shouldn't be in this category, and then who's going to get it from the Oscars perspective. So first, who'd you like?
Oh, I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once.
So you like the Daniels?
Amazing.
Okay.
I wasn't excited about Triangle of Sadness. Yeah, and I really did like Banshees of Inisherin, but I just think what they did with Everything Everywhere All at Once was that was a directorial challenge to have all these different versions of all these characters and to keep it all straight and to make it believable and entertaining. They did a great job.
Yeah.
David, what did you think?
Well, I agree with Pat. I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once would be my pick to be the winner.
Uh-huh.
I think the Fabelmans will win.
Oh,
I think they will win, but I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once is the most deserving, just because it did so many different things. It was a great bit of talent to do what they did. I mean, this film, it's wild. It's a wild thing.
yeah.
And I mean, again, it puts Marvel in its place. Pat said that very eloquently over several episodes. And it's just like nothing we've really ever seen.
Yeah.
With its bizarreness, absurdity, and good story about a family. Boom. The Daniels win for me.
Yeah. And okay. So I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. If nothing else, for the guys to call themselves the Daniels. That is another unique thing that they're doing. That is so cool. And that you have two directors is really amazing. And I think it might be the first Asian American director to get a nomination. It might be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of firsts this year. And so I just loved everything about it. It's a unique story. It's something just they're directing multiple versions and then yet still keeping that storyline where you could understand it. And of course, the two rocks.
Yeah, googly eyes.
That's the googly eye. I mean, who thinks like that? Or the bagel? Everything.
The hot dog fingers.
And hot dog fingers. Hot
and who
dog
can forget the
fingers.
award, the trophy?
That should have been like stupid and so. And then the scene with Michelle Kwan. I mean, not Michelle Kwan. Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis in the Hot Dog Hands universe. I mean, golly. So the Daniels just did something incredible. I despise Triangle of Sadness, and that shit should not have even been nominated. It's awful. I even went back because I had this before and didn't like something, went back and watched it like Mank, and then really enjoyed it the second time. This made me despise it even more the second time watching it. It's awful. But I don't know. I'm hoping that Spielberg doesn't get it, but there's a lot of chatter about him getting it this time. So, and I don't think that's right because he hasn't done anything different that hasn't been done before with a family drama, and it's not even one of his best ones. So
it's just semi-autobiographical. That's so
yeah, but who
brave
cares?
of him
It's
to expose
terrible.
himself. Whatever.
It's terrible. I'm sorry to say that about
okay.
his
It
mama,
wasn't
but
great.
she was terrible. That I hope that really
Okay, it just
wasn't her.
great.
She was terrible. So
Yeah.
I just don't know, but I hope not. That's my hope. Okay.
That's my pick, though. I don't want it to be, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, I would be so disappointed because there's no way the Daniels shouldn't win. Just a bunch of jerks, sentimental jerks, if they pick the Fabelmans and Steven Spielberg. Boo. Okay. So now we're finally at the end. Let's talk about Best Picture. It's changed a little bit. So let's see the list, the top films of the year. Hit it. We have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. Okay, that's a big list. David, what do you think is your favorite? Which is the worst? And which do you think will get Best Picture?
All right. Well, I would say just from a purely which one I enjoyed watching the most.
Yep.
I have mocked it. I have laughed at it. I have criticized its inclusion. But when I look at these and I think about which one of these would I'd actually want to watch again, You Never Close Your Eyes.
I knew you were going to say this.
Your lips. Top Gun. They saved Hollywood. I agree with Spielberg. It has no business here, but yet it's here. It is the Rocky of the Oscars. By God.
Don't even say that.
And of course, Rocky did win an Oscar. The irony of saying that. But no, I'm going to pick Top Gun as the one that I would want. I think Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is probably the most deserving. But if they give Spielberg, they might say the Fabelmans will be.
Oh.
But I'm rooting for Top Gun. Check your 6, everybody.
Blech, on the Fabelmans. Patrick.
Dave,
What do
I'm
you-
not really sure I can talk to you in public anymore after you picking that Arby's dumpster fire of a movie, a retread of 80s nostalgia with a 60-year-old man who can all of a sudden do 5Gs and an inverted
I
thing.
live for
Give me a break. I mean, I'm all about suspension.
I mean, that was science fiction.
And you know what? I can suspend my disbelief because I love the one I want to see one is Everything Everywhere All at Once because it was just so unique. But Top Gun is to quote a friend of mine, trash. It was terrible. The other one that I would not be disappointed if one would be the Banshees of Inisherin because I loved that movie. It was beautiful. It was just well acted. Everything in it was minimalist enough that it was. And I know Pam didn't like it. That's why she's making this face like she just ate something bad.
She views it like we do Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's the Mortal Kombat
or the last 3 Star Wars movies.
No, Triangle of Sadness is the Mortal Kombat.
I mean, it was. I would not mind seeing Banshees of Inisherin win. And there's several actors in there. I mean, out of the actors category, which I don't know if we covered or not. I may have missed that night. You got two of the two main stars of that are in the best actor category. You got not Brendan Fraser, but Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. So I mean, there's some big talent on there, and Barry Keoghan was the best point. I mean, they got some big talent. It was a gorgeous movie about dysfunction. I mean, wow, throwing your fingers at the house. Damn.
Okay.
So I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that one win either, but I did really enjoy. Like I said, Everything Everywhere All at Once is my pick for a lot of things. Just because it was so unique and so over the top everywhere. And I mean, there's some sentimental favorites in there. You got Short Round back in there. I don't think he should win for what he's up for. But I mean, it was good to see some of these people make it back into the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that movie a lot.
Yeah. I'm really rooting for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, that truly was one of the most unique movies of the year, at least of the year, if not in a decade. Just massively creative. And that's what I want to see Hollywood do more of. Instead of sequel after sequel, superhero, which of course I love.
Maverick,
But Top Gun Maverick, that's not new. I mean, the only thing decent about it was Val Kilmer. He should have been nominated. But
or Avatar, another one.
And Avatar,
another retread of a movie. Yes, visually it's stunning.
Yeah,
it was the same story. There's nothing to recommend it.
And the worst nomination is, of course, Triangle of Sadness. That is awful, terrible, and ridiculous. And no, it's just a no for me. Puke. And okay, so there's been a lot of chatter, so I don't know. Top Gun might sneak in there. I mean, it might. I mean, it would be
a crime.
Because I don't think Tom Cruise has gotten an Oscar, and so he's a producer, so he would get the Oscar for it. And it would be the first blockbuster really to get an Oscar.
Yeah.
You've got about I think they said this is the highest grossing Oscars that between Top Gun and Avatar and a couple of the others, it's over $1 billion in tickets.
Well, I always question those numbers when they want to throw that stuff out because you know what, a movie ticket now is $10, but when Star Wars came out, they were $1.50.
Or King Kong.
Or King Kong, where they were 75 cents or 2 bits or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, adjusted for inflation, I would really be interested to see where these numbers really hit compared to Jaws.
The ticket sales are the ticket sales. I'm not sure.
They need to adjust the dollars and the numbers in eras, because I do think it does kind of imply a movie is bigger or better in some way than than some of the movies when when we didn't have the multiplexes, when we didn't have
Right.
the dollars. I mean, there's you had to drive those films from one theater to another.
Yeah.
It I think it creates a false impression of superiority that shouldn't really be there. I think
Well, I'm just commenting that these are some of the first, like
it is. There's two big
that-
movies that were intended to be summer flicks, right?
Well, and I think one of the best of the interesting trivia about this year Oscar is the success of Encino Man. With Brendan Fraser and
Dude, that movie
Kwan were both in Encino Man, and now are both up for Oscars. So
that is pretty wild.
What's his name? Pauly Shore. Thanks to Pauly Shore.
Oh man.
Did both of you guys get to see The Whale?
Yes.
I have not. I've not seen it.
Oh yes.
If he doesn't win, I'll be really shocked on several levels.
Okay.
Elvis is really coming up. Austin. I mean, what's his name?
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler is now, his name is really being touted out there for his Elvis, and I'm like,
I hate to interrupt this important conversation, but my Oscar has a bit of an emergency, so I've got to run right now.
Okay.
I'll see you guys later. I don't want to pick up my trophy tonight, so I got to go.
Take care. See you, Oscar Boo. But yeah, okay, now we can talk about The Whale. Oh my God, it was amazing.
Stupid good.
But because only thing I had a tiny bit of a problem with was the pacing, because it's a play originally, and so they filmed it still, to me, kind of with the pacing of a play.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not always a bad thing, but that was just one thing I was just kind of like, I could see. I mean, not Marvel energy, but just kind of shake it up a little bit so it doesn't seem so much like a play. But his performance is just incredible, and he's been crushing it in the award shows, and so I really want him to get it, just as a kind of comeback. But for some reason, I'm hearing a lot about the Academy. A lot of people are really loving Austin. What's his name? Butler?
Austin Butler. I am. He was good. I'm interested to see him in Dune Part 2.
Oh, who is he? Is he one of the red hair, the Harkonnens?
He's going to be the
Fade
Harkonnen, yeah, Fade, Sting's character from the first version they tried.
I mean, is he still going to have his Elvis voice? Or
I don't know. He's going to,
he said he's having a hard time shaking it.
The character of Fade Rotha will be interesting because he's kind of got that magnetic thing that Fade did in the books. Super excited to see that. That will be interesting.
Yeah. And so we'll look for what is his name? Villeneuve? Denis
Villeneuve or something. Villeneuve or something. Yeah.
To come back next year with Dune 2. But yeah, I think this Oscars, it's just going to be super interesting this year. And that
who's slapped is what I want to know.
No.
Who's getting slapped?
That's going to be the slap. And speaking of which, did you see the Chris Rock?
I have not yet, but I am.
Outrage, selective outrage. Okay, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to put it on the list to talk about it because it's very interesting and brings up a lot of things. But he did address it, and we'll talk about it. But tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern, I'll be doing my live Twitter feed about the Oscars. And also tomorrow, and our friends over at Super Dare Die Power Team have invited me to do a show with them. So I'm going to be taping a show with them tomorrow, and that will be on their site, and then I'll post it on my channel as well, so you can see us and you can share, and we can meet some new friends, a nice new collab. So check that out. But Pat, it is time for us to say goodbye and get some sleep because it's the time change. Tonight,
Super
springing
excited.
forward and watching Oscars. So that's going to be something. But I've been waking up at the new time all week anyway. After my trip, my time is all off. So say goodnight to the people. Any final words?
I don't know. Good night, everybody. Just get out and see movies. It's my advice, as always.
Yeah, and I figure if I could go all the way to India, I could take myself into a movie theater here in the States. So I'll be checking out some movies, and we will do them live on Pajama Life. So have a great week. Watch the Oscars tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. And see if our predictions match what happens. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.